Welcome to the third installment of the Making of Earl's Court, where we will take a look at the only two shows that we the fans have on video. If you haven't watched episodes 1 and 2, I definitely suggest you do so for context and a summary of the first 3 nights. So by the time Led Zeppelin was about to play their 4th show, they had performed to 51,000 fans, with an average concert duration of 3 hours. The world around them was changing. Elton John released his 9th studio album, Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, on May 19th. The war in Cambodia escalated into a living hell for its citizens, with casualties of 1.3 million. Radio airwaves in May saw the release of 10cc's masterpiece and major studio recording achievement, I'm Not in Love. Can't help to listen to this song feeling the post-Vietnam societies moving into darker territories where love became harder to protect. This song is a bittersweet soundtrack considering how Led Zeppelin's trajectory drastically changed just 3 months later. So as we all know, both shows for May 24th and May 25th are available as bootleg video releases. Some sources state all shows were allegedly captured on videotape for the band's personal collection. While this can be possible, it seems as if the band knew these performances would be recorded for the archive, as they sound nervous in places where the first 3 shows didn't suffer from overthinking. We know they had cameras rolling for the projection screen, so why do these concerts feel like the pressure was bigger than before? Now, footage from May 24th and May 25th was used for both the promo video for Holy Love, Latter Days, and 2003's Led Zeppelin DVD. For copyright reasons, I left out some of the songs that we already have an official release for, so stuff like the acoustic set will not be covered here. Sorry guys. Now, before you may think these shows were sloppy or average, please do yourself a favor and revisit the audience recordings for both nights. They will give you a much better idea of how these shows actually went down. Judging these only with the plain soundboard mix from the video is not fair. Now for this episode I did my own remix of the audio with some reverb and frequencies added for depth.
Welcome to Earl's Court. For the next 3 hours, your mother wouldn't like it. Will you please welcome back to England, Messrs. Bonham, Jones, Page and Plant, Led Zeppelin!
They start off with rock and roll. Robert Plant's hoarse vocals battle through the opening lines. His bandmates carefully grooved behind them. Something that is noticeable on both soundboard and audience recordings for this show is how low the drums sound on the mix. Rock and roll was the song to get it right before it was too late. One great thing about the video for this concert is to watch John Jones's bass work behind the song. He doubled the guitar lines and added smart variations to the riff. Jimmy's famous jump is there, but it's somewhat shy. But hey, it's the first track of a 3-hour show. Robert's extended ad-lib for Lonely cuts Pressure's on-stage energy, later resumed by Bonham's drum solo. John Henry seems to play both fast and slow, something of a drag tempo which we will see on other songs as well. It remains a mystery what happened to Bonzo's stamina on May 24th.
When we say play, we don't mean sort of just groove along on everything that could be groovy, like with the purple umbrella and a 50-cent hat. None of that. We intend to take you on a little journey on the experiences that we've had in 6.5 years. This is the beginning of the journey.
In My Time of Dying from this show was used for the Led Zeppelin DVD. Okay, let's talk No Quarter. It remains one of the absolute highlights for the 4th concert at Earl's Court. After a powerful intro, main riff and verses, we get deep into the waters of improvisation. Jones begins with a piano suite like his previous excursions from the series, yet keeps them ever so interesting. Spanish influences mixed with acute sense of harmony create the build-up for the song's signature jam interlude. John Paul Jones really lets himself go here, something I could only compare to opening night on May 17th. Jimmy's guitar solo was well executed with plenty of ideas to choose from, backed up by Jones and Bonham altering the rhythm patterns as they went. Now, as much as I enjoy this, I miss the 1973 versions of the song, with Jones sticking to the electric piano rather than the grand piano, as it takes too much frequency space from the guitar solo itself. I can enjoy Jones's grand piano solo, but when Jimmy comes along you wish the keyboard stuff was not that up front, as it alters the light and shade aspect of the track.
John Paul Jones piano! Let's hear the John Paul Jones grand piano!
Tangerine on video is a special treat to revisit and witness the historical electric performance featuring all four bandmates singing, with Bonham providing the distinctive register for harmony, as opposed to a shy vocal performance by Page and Jones. Jimmy's guitar solo and arpeggio jam at the end further proves this song was pivotal in the making of Stairway to Heaven, production-wise. Now let me just say I came to the conclusion it was more exciting for me to revisit the audience tapes than the visuals, because sometimes it's better to use your imagination, you know? There's a coldness at Earl's chord that's bittersweet or strange. Maybe I missed the intimate feel of their past UK tours, or maybe the acoustic set was wishful thinking in what seems like a farewell to England from the heights of physical graffiti. They really conquered every step of the rock and roll business by then. There was no place to go. They built their own fishbowl, with their only crime, their greatness. I am not saying they were on the verge of a breakup, but what 1975 on became for them was survival, regrouping, holding on to their brotherhood until death tore them apart. Earl's Court was the greatest hits package, an exhibition ground for their highlights, one last breath before going underwater in the ocean of uncertainty, pain, and mortality. Trample Underfoot brought them back to 1975, with a fast funk that remains one of the most consistent tracks from all 5 shows. This version here, though, not the strongest one. Once again, it feels like they knew they were being filmed for a potential release. It's like the nervous factor that kicks in when you see the red light for recording. We can also think of some cabin fever residency effect at Earl's Court, taking a toll on the spontaneous side of things. These guys just didn't like to follow rules, but make their own, and playing several dates at the same venue has rules to follow. Maybe the after-show party agenda was different in London, as opposed to Los Angeles and New York. Maybe they didn't party that much, having their families near them. Maybe by the 4th night it felt like another day in the office. Who knows? There are some nervous hiccups, but the heart-pulsating beat keeps the train at full speed.
Well, it's Saturday night. Well, it's Saturday night and I just got paid. Fool by my nose, trying to say, what sense gonna go out time? Tonight, there's a lad watching his dad, who is a remarkable drummer, even though he's 7 years old, 8 years old. He is a better drummer than 80% of rock group drummers today, and he's 8 years old. So, Jason Bonham, this is your dad. John Bonham, Moby Dick!
John Bonham's fourth drum solo at Earl's chord went for consistency over crazy movement and flair. Nothing wrong with this approach because the volume of attack on the first portion allows the listener to appreciate his relationship with the Ludwig Vistelite. Having visuals to a drum solo makes you criticize it less because you can see the actual techniques. From a historic point of view, I believe Bonham's drum solos on video must be watched start to finish. There's so much to absorb from his character here that really puts into perspective the enormous tragedy of his passing. He was one of the greatest drummers in rock and roll, no question.
John Bonham, master of the skins. At the very beginning of our time, Monzo refused to join us because he was getting 40 quid a week with Tim Rose. I had 8 telegrams sent to the 3 men in a boat in Warsaw when Noddy Alderhead, a slave, was our roadie. And nobody believed that the new Yardbirds, nothing's changed. Nobody would believe it. And John Paul Jones had just finished a tour with Greta Garbo. And Jimmy Page was coming out of the closet. So we're really having a good time back in good old England. We've got to fly soon. You know how it goes with Dennis. Dear Dennis, private enterprise, no artists in the country anymore. He must be dazed and confused.
Okay, now on to Dazed and Confused. What to say about this version clocking in at 32 minutes? Well, Van Halen 2 is 31 minutes long. The sheer magnitude for this psychedelic / progressive rock venture cannot be overlooked. First things first, it's not better than May 18th nor May 23rd. It leans on the tight but not so loose vibes of opening night, May 17th. I laugh when I think this is why I'm not invited to parties. I dare to speak about these things and people look at me confused, and sometimes dazed, depending if they took recreational herbs, you know? So the standout section for Dazed on May 24th goes to Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones's intimate string bit just before they go into the old arpeggio for San Francisco. This conversation between the two Capricorns, as Robert Plant calls them, speaks of a profound musical connection. The most impressive part of the video is, in my opinion, Jimmy's violin bow solo with the smoke machine and lasers, a scene that sums up the mystical element of Page's fascination with other dimensions. I can't think of any other 70s guitarist that created such an iconic representation like this. As much as musicians criticize him for his lead guitar work on stage after 1973, his showmanship remained the same. This moment is like the underworld and outer space simultaneously. Jimmy Page, the crazy scientist, and Led Zeppelin, his laboratory. The call and response section was extended with more space in between the unison hits. This may throw off some fans as they deemed the 1973 versions much more exciting. While I can't understand it, I see them as celebrating their liberty and wealth. They really could hold silence in the palm of their hands and then release it into the world of hungry Zeppelin fans. There's a weird stop in the vamp over D that really comes out of nowhere in favor of experimentation. Stairway to Heaven from May 24th is good, but you can see why they went with the 25th for the 2003 DVD. It was not as exciting and Robert seems tired. His vocal cords suffered in the final section. The band came back for 2 encores and Bonham took the microphone to deliver his most famous sports commentary. Relaxed and with only one more show left, it was time to have fun. A whole lot of fun.
I'd like to say at this point that I think football's a load of bollocks.
I'd like to say that soccer is a wonderful sport, the best sport. And that's got nothing to do with Bonzo's sentiments. I prefer grapes anyway. Thank you very much. Good night. Thank you.
The last show from the series and one of my favorite opening shots. To see the audience before the lights go down is magic. You feel the tension, the expectations. No cell phones, no selfies, no DJ playing loud music, nothing. Just a moment before the wave hits. All the songs on the 2003 Led Zeppelin DVD were taken from this show, except In My Time of Dying, like I mentioned earlier. So this means no acoustic set review here either.
Good evening, music lovers. What I want to know is, listen, hold it. Are you ready? I want to hear some action from you. Let's hear some hands. Come on. Come on. I want to tell you something. We are here tonight because you and I have great taste. That is for sure. Want to hear it? Music lovers, ladies and gentlemen, here is Led Zeppelin.
From the minute Bonzo plays the intro for rock and roll, you can tell this is gonna be a fantastic show. It's like the energy button was on, a very different spirit to May 24th. It's like they wanted to get the job done once and for all. The thrill of closing night is similar to employees wanting to go home on a Friday at 4:59 p.m. or middle management looking at their Christmas bonuses. And what a way for Zeppelin to deliver. Truly back at their usual levels of kick-assery, Chuck Norris style, although I would say Bonzo's bass drum was stronger than Chuck Norris himself. Sick Again is ferocious, untamed, predatory, savage. They wouldn't play in England for another 1,532 days. That's 4 years, 2 months, and 10 days.
Good evening, and welcome to the last concert in England for a considerable time. There's always the 1980s.
I find Robert's comments here quite sad. There was no 1980s for Led Zeppelin, but for Page, Plant and Jones. You can check my post-Led Zeppelin 1980s series for this topic. Over the Hills is energetic and quasi-punk, a sped-up take back to the spirit of 1972. The last show Motivator really helped them restore their vigor and intensity here. Jimmy goes psycho mode on his guitar. He may not have been in his prime, but man, he went full Page. White pages, yellow pages, refresh page, everything. Robert's stage banter, aka Plantations, are witty and fueled by the joy of concluding their 5-night run. Now, as I say this, I think Led Zeppelin was not ready for the 80s and 90s, and I say this in a good way. They were human away from robotic ventures of so many competitors, who later played the game of corporate stadium rock agendas. Led Zeppelin was susceptible to the pressures of the same industry they helped to create. Earl's Court is a great case study to celebrate their greatness because they really did their best to stay real within the machine. In My Time of Dying from the 25th was played at breakneck speed compared to the 24th, so I can see why it wasn't included on the 2003 DVD. Too bad though, because its rapid trails showcase Jones's impeccable bass work. By the way, Jonesy used the same bass throughout the first 5 numbers. The song remains the same as proto-punk, proto-heavy metal, and proto-thrash, a frenetic version where every instrument is pushed to the limits of precision. What the hell happened to these guys on the 25th, I ask? Kudos to whatever they had for dinner. It worked wonders. Now, why don't I consider this to be the best show from the series, but May 23rd? It all comes down to looking at the big picture. The fact that they played faster doesn't mean it's better. While excitement plays a part, a solid middle ground tempo actually enhances the musicality of their marvelous creations. Now, if you listen to May 24th and 25th back to back, it's easy to feel the 25th is the best. The song remains the same on the 25th, is what I would play to the naysayers who think the band was finished by 1975. Don't be fooled, Zeppelin could really outplay their competitors when they put their minds and bodies to it. The Rain song is another highlight, with all 4 members playing their heart out. What a crime against humanity not to feature this one on the 2003 DVD. Robert and Bonzo are particularly impressive on the hard rock section. Kashmir returned to the faster tempo of May 17th. This particular speed doesn't really benefit the song, but at least it doesn't lose an ounce of power. Interesting how Jones plays the D note on his Honor D6 for the descending guitar part. The middle section does benefit from the forceful approach, as you can't take your eyes away from the mighty spectacle. You do experience some ear fatigue after a while, because it's so heavy, it's almost too much. Bonham does deliver his best drum chops at the end, where all previous nights were quite conservative.
Ladies, we feel loose and easy. I remember the time when that meant something, but never mind, the Osmonds will be here next week.
No Quarter on the 5th night is great. Jones's piano solo is more concise and uplifting than previous After Hours explorations. This can be positive for some, but for me, I miss some of the daring jazzy terrains from the first 3 nights. Play with that evening's obsession on fast tempos, Jimmy's hands fly through the fretboard, cruising at full shred guitar speed. It seems he wanted to be challenged with a faster tempo after all. This is prime Jimmy if you ask me, and it makes me question what motivated him to play like this, as opposed to his 1975 average.
John Bonham, Moby Dick, Dick.
With the manic speed the band played every number that evening, you'd expect Moby Dick to be nothing but insane. And you're correct. The Bonham engine is back at 1972 and 1973 levels. John Henry Bonham took it personally, musically, and any type of emotion you can think of. Dazed and Confused reached a point of perfection for 1975. The accents are confident and fearless. They're not hesitant nor dragging the tempo. This is a piece that does benefit from speed. You need velocity to take the hard-rocking parts down the right path. Ironically, it's the San Francisco portion which is not as inspired as the others, but the machine gun lead guitar frenzy cooks, and it cooks well. Earl's chord witnessed one of the greatest takes on this song in a long time.
Everybody's been talking low, swimming in the dry. The way that you push me down, I can take too much of that. Just come on, show me the way. I wanna make love to you, little girl. The 25.
Jimmy Page, the guitar hero, Jones and Bonham, the secret weapons, and Robert Plant, the time traveler. Now, one bit of information on Stairway to Heaven from May 25th, which you can check on the official DVD from 2003 or the YouTube clip on Led Zeppelin's official YouTube channel. So Page broke his B string midway through the solo. This is the second string, high to low. That's bad luck if you ask me. Breaking this string on Stairway to Heaven is a nightmare. Jimmy had to play the closing phrase for the solo an octave lower around the 5th fret. Now on the DVD you can hear this because there's a patch from May 23rd or May 24th added in, which makes it sound like he played this on the high frets, but now you know. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Here's an audience recording of Stairway to Heaven from May 25th, so you can hear the original ending for the solo, where Jimmy Page had to deal with a broken B string. He probably gave a weird look to his guitar tech. Robert's last vocal part, where he sings "And She's Buying a Stairway to Heaven," was taken from May 24th, as it was the best take out of the final two nights.
Is this our swan song, I wonder? It's been 5 glorious days. Thank you very much for being a great audience. And if you see Dennis Healy, tell him we've gone. Thanks a lot, seriously, it's been great. Never mind the A5 and the Austin Champ. Good night.
The band won the extra mile and came back for 2 encores. First one, Heartbreaker, was played 13 times on their North American tour of 1975, with their most recent performance, that being March 24th at the LA Forum. Led Zeppelin would revisit this song 8 more times all the way up to 1980. What about this track at Earl's Court? Well, it rocked, and Jimmy's solo was superb. The man was a superstar. Absolutely. Once the band comes in, you can feel the BBC Sessions vibes. Yes, it's not 1971, but the passion never left. I will admit being quite surprised by this while revisiting the material. I totally forgot about this hot take on the song. Next we find the guys discussing which song to do as a second encore. With so many numbers to choose from, I'm pretty sure it was a difficult conversation. Communication Breakdown was played 8 times that year, with Seattle Central Coliseum on March 21st, their most recent attempt. Now, it wasn't a strange choice for an encore, as it had this position since 1970. Lucky British fans witnessed a middle jam special take on It's Your Thing by the Isley Brothers, where Robert sang the chorus to Jamaica, plus other improvised ad-libs. Led Zeppelin had played the Isley Brothers number before, as far back as 1969, all the way through 1973, whenever Communication Breakdown was played as an encore. And just like that, Earl's Court was over. Their 5-night residency came to its conclusion with a blast, a high note and virtuoso ending to a daunting task that challenged their mighty feast. Fun fact, both Heartbreaker and Communication Breakdown were the encores for the band's final UK shows of Knebworth 1979 on August 4th and 11th respectively. An after-party dinner was held at Earl's Court for a select number of guests. This is a poster for such an event with a starting time of 11:30, which I assume it's PM, after their final show at the venue. Each bandmate got a special mirror version of the Earl's Court poster as a very cool gift from Peter Grant and Mel Bush. From here on, Led Zeppelin faced a different kind of challenge, and if you're into continuity, I recommend you watching The Making of Presence, which pretty much starts here, at this very moment, Sunday, May 25th, 1975. Robert Plant was in for a rude awakening, and the band did everything they could to keep themselves moving, having dinner in exile, while their rock and roll ships stood still waiting in silence. As you would expect, many bands played Earl's Court after Led Zeppelin in the remaining part of the 70s. You had Elton John and the Rolling Stones in 1976, Queen, Genesis, and Bad Company in 1977, and Bob Dylan and David Bowie in 1978. Pink Floyd played their 1980 and 1981 shows for The Wall at Earl's Court, which were subsequently released for the year 2000 album Is There Anybody Out There? Earl's Court 2 opened its doors in 1985 as a way to expand the business. Not sure I like the design, but at least it added movement to the site's commercial value. Pink Floyd revisited the venue for their Division Bell tour with 14 dates at Earl's Court 1. These were later captured on their live video Pulse. Now, a section of the seating for 1,200 concertgoers collapsed on October 12th at one of their shows, injuring almost 100 fans. Why didn't Page and Plant play Earl's Court in the 90s? Well, rival venues such as the NEC Birmingham had better appeal for promoters, thus the historic site was not revisited by the former Led Zeppelin bandmates. Quite a shame, you know? I think it would have been a special event to go back and do one more for the good old days of 1975. The O2 Arena London opened its doors in 2007, further stealing concert action from Earl's Court. Talks for a potential demolition of Earl's Court started in 2010 by the owner and a local investment and development company. The idea was, of course, like many cities around the world, to take down a historic building and redevelop residential flats, stores, and all that modern stuff. Pretty much like the back cover for Led Zeppelin 4. A Save Earl's Court movement begun, but it couldn't save the venue from its demise. Earl's Court was demolished from 2014 throughout 2016. Now the story gets worse. The council sold the land to a development company, Capital and Counties Properties, or CAPCO, back in 2013. But then in 2019, the council announced plans to take back the land from the developers and build homes. As of 2023, a new design proposal was made, including an urban park with 60% of the land free from buildings, plus 1,000 trees. A teenage wasteland it seems. The empty lot at Earl's Court holds the memories of prime rock and roll events taking place back in the day. It was the end of an era for Led Zeppelin, before Endurance was their only song to play. The quartet performed one of their greatest set lists on those magical 5 nights in May 1975. Every concert was a different version of the same band. These were variations on Jimmy's Dragon Suit, Bonzo's Ludwig Vistelite, Jones's White Shirt and Onion Jacket, and Robert's Open Blouse Plantations. A roller coaster of nerves, expectations, and inspiration. They were vulnerable and heroic, showing everyone they were human, but legends forever. Earl's Court was their British goodbye, and Knebworth their swan song. Thank you very much for watching. I want to personally thank my dear patrons, my 31 paid members that keep the channel going and support all the hours of research. If you're watching this and want to join the club, you're more than welcome to do so. Let's hit 50 patrons in the coming months. That'd be awesome. You can also make your donations via PayPal and YouTube Super Chat comments as well. It's almost Christmas at the time of making this video, so happy holidays to everyone, stay safe, and let's crank the speakers to the music of Led Zeppelin. Bye bye.